My name is Myra Faez. Tatiana Molina. Christina Georgopoulos. Daisy Rios.
And Sean Hart.
Okay, so for our social justice class, our topic, we chose child abuse. We're going to show you some demographics. We're going to show you what we found about child abuse through our surveys, what our community needs are, and solutions we found through the surveys. Our research questions were, what does child abuse mean? What is it? How does it affect those victims? And how has it been helpful overcoming it?
In the beginning, we actually surveyed well over 100 people, but only 40 of our surveys were actually useful for data. Most people that we surveyed were Latinos, then whites and African Americans. The majority of people spoke English as their main language, but 42% spoke Spanish. We had several options on our original survey for people who abused you, like coaches, aunts, uncles, siblings, but most people said that either their father or mother abused them, and of those two, the majority was the father. And we also had several options for the reason, but most people said that anger was the main issue other than previous abuse or stress.
Okay, and now we're going to show you a video. Just to warn you, it is graphic, so if you guys want to step out, feel free to do that.
That's good enough. Let's see how many friends you make with a haircut like this. You see, you ain't gonna be fly no more. No more. Alright, let's go in the room. It's time. Brush all that hair out first.
You get me, I get it.
That's what's happening. We about to take turns. Let's go. Drop your pants. Hurry up. How many times we got to tell you? Huh? Nah, shut up. Nah. How many times we got to tell you? This what you crying for? This ain't doing nothing to you. This ain't doing nothing to you. Because you took your ass right back to school and you started acting ass again. This ain't doing nothing. Shut your ass up. Shut up. Shut up. You gotta keep shut up. No, ain't no okay. Because all you gonna do is go back to school tomorrow. No, you gonna go back to school tomorrow. You gonna, no, I ain't gonna promote your motherfucking hand. You lost your goddamn mind. Huh? Faster. Faster, let's go. Hurry up. Bear cross. Let's go. What you looking at? You got about 10 seconds to get to the sidewalk. Let's go. Three, 2, 1. Get to the sidewalk. Hurry up. Push up. Let's go. Halfway and look at me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go. Oh, your knees was on the ground the whole time. Your knees was on the ground the whole time? You cheating on me? Push up, let's go. 15 of them, go. Up, down. Count.
The dad did go to jail because he posted this on the internet and thought it was funny, so something was done about it.
Do you know what the boy did wrong?
He was acting up in school, and they got a phone call, and I guess he did that previous week, so he shaved his head to embarrass him and everything. So that wasn't right. They confused discipline with abuse, and that was abuse.
We found out that typically the abuse starts between 6 to 7 years old, and it usually stops from 8 to 12. And we also found out that the majority were physically abused, but they were also, a lot of the people that were surveyed were also verbally abused and sexually abused. One of the questions was how much was their life affected, and about 62% said between 9 and 10.
In our math class, in the ACE program, we did graphs. This graph shows people that felt helpless while they were abused, and then showing that how bad they rated talking that has helped, or how much talking has helped. So from 2 to 10, how much it helped, 10 being the highest, 2 being the least. People that felt helpless felt that talking hasn't helped as much as people that didn't feel helpless. So we need to focus more on the people that did feel helpless to open them up, because probably they didn't want to talk about it. That's why they rated talking hasn't helped.
So for this graph, we're talking about isolation. In this graph, you can see the blue dots, which means the victims. Every dot is a victim. They're rating from 0 to 10 how much their life changed. So for those people that did isolate themselves, they rated that their life changed from 5 to 10. So it did change a lot. And then for the people that didn't isolate themselves, it didn't change as much, because it says from 1. They scored from 1 to 10.
So this graph is basically showing that the people who their abuse stopped at a younger age, their life wasn't affected as much, but the people who their life changed more was the people that their abuse stopped at a later age. And if you think about it, if it stopped at a younger age, your memories are kind of like in the past, you kind of forget about it. But if the abuse stopped when you were older, you're kind of more aware of what's going on. So you're kind of more affected by it because you know what's going on. And so there is a need to basically stop child abuse at a younger age. That way their life isn't affected as much.
This graph shows the victims that have tried to overcome abuse and the amount of times that they ended up in the hospital. And it shows that people that tried to overcome abuse have ended up in the hospital more often than those who did not try and overcome it and just accepted it. And so we need to help those children who actually are trying to do something about it and try and get them a little bit better protection so they don't end up in the hospital.
So this graph shows the people who've been abused have talked to anyone as opposed to those who didn't talk to anyone. On the top part of the graph, it shows that the people who did talk to someone, they scaled a 10 from 0 to 10 that therapy did help, as opposed to other ones who thought therapy didn't help because they scored low. For these next few slides, we're going to talk about the victim's needs. The first need is helping parents with anger issues. There are some parents who cannot control their anger and tend to lash out on their children. Our second need is having someone they can talk to and feel connected to. There are some children who are scared and feel unsafe to open up to others. And the last need is the better parenting skills. There are some parents who do not know how to raise their children, and some can't tell the difference between abuse and discipline, and they don't know any other ways of how to raise their children.
Our first solution would be to work with parents who have anger issues. And one way we could do this is by offering free food at PTA meetings. And the reason behind that is because usually if there's free food, people tend to show up, and they sit there and they listen to what they have to say. And this wouldn't really cost us anything, because all we would have to do would be to change the subject about the PTA meeting to child abuse. And basically they would be taught techniques on how to control their anger before it gets serious.
The second strategy, we could have create a retreat for teachers, counselors, and therapists, basically teaching them how to be aware of what child is being abused and how to deal with it. Because at school, most counselors really
I don't want to say all, but they don't really do their job. Counselors are there to help children throughout the way, throughout high school, even college. So what we could do is to teach them how to deal with these children, because most people don't know how to deal with victims. And our third solution would be to hold monthly meetings on how to discipline and raise your kid. And in these monthly meetings, we would teach the parent or guardian basically like the difference between discipline and abuse and how they could discipline their child without physically or mentally hurting them. And we could have, this wasn't in the survey, but we thought that one thing that would be helpful was to have volunteers go in and talk at pregnancy facilities for teenagers. And the reason behind that is because obviously in the teen pregnancy facilities, they're young, so they're practically a child. So they don't know how to raise a kid. And perhaps when they were younger, they were abused, and they think that that's the right way to raise your child. And also, since they're young, when the baby is screaming or yelling or crying, they're going to get frustrated, which leads to anger, which might lead to physically hitting them to try to make them to be quiet because they don't know any other way to stop it. This is a table, and it's showing basically the PTA meetings, the child abuse retreat, and the monthly meetings for how to raise kids. And we found out that the PTA meetings met anger management, it met helping parents personally, and it met better parenting for the parents. So we found out that the PTA meetings are the way to go to help prevent child abuse. One way to prevent it.
I hope you guys learned that child abuse is a priority. Many people don't know this, but a lot of children out there are getting abused, and it's not only physical. It can be verbal, sexual, mentally. It's just a whole lot of there's a lot of definitions for child abuse, and a lot of people don't know it. So I learned that child abuse needs to be a priority, and I hope that you guys feel the same way too. Okay, so that was our presentation on child abuse.
Thank you.
Thank you.